Mazzy?
Hey.
I'm bored.
What do you want to do?
I want to go somewhere exciting, please.
Sutton Hoo?
Sutton Hoo?
Yeah?
Sutton Hoo? Shall we go to Sutton Hoo? Now, Sutton Hoo is one of the best excavations of treasure ever found in Great Britain. In the world. It's amazing stuff. Shall we go to Sutton Hoo? Okay. To be honest, it looks really fake. It just looks like you stood behind a piece of cardboard, to be honest with you. You're not manly enough. So here we are.
Yeah.
The Sutton Hoo Exhibition. I'm really looking forward to this. Neither of us know too much about it, do we? As far as I'm aware, it's what, 6th and 7th century graveyards have been found here, with a huge burial ship which they think a king was buried in it.
624.
624, was that a year?
Well, that's what they say. That's what they think.
And what's the king's name? Who the
King
think?
Radwald.
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 Mazzy, be careful that you don't bang your head on there. You'd be a right idiot if you did that. I haven't done it, and I wouldn't do it.
What do you reckon?
I'm guessing this is the kind of thing the burial looked like. I think this is what they're trying to say. So this would be the king who was in the boat. We're actually in the boat, I didn't know that. Not the real boat, this is a reconstruction. But they've put like a little shed, turned it into a boat. And I don't know, I'm guessing this is the things they found in the grave. Not the original, just replicas to show you what it would have looked like. Some kind of game there. The famous helmet, which we'll go into in more detail later, I'm hoping. Not the best looking king. Few bowls, smelly clothes, some pots. Are they sure he were a king? He looks a bit of a scuffer to me.
No.
Nice sword there. I believe the sword's here. We'll get to see that, I think.
I like his buckle now.
Yeah, his buckle. That's in the London Museum now, but I think there's a proper replica of it in here. And I think they've got all these pieces as well. So out of all the burials here, this is where the lady of the house lived. And she noticed she had loads of mounds. Okay, like here. Loads of mounds. So she got some guy to come in and excavate it. And that's where they found everything. So she lived there. I think we can actually go in there in a bit. There's a cemetery there. Anglo-Saxon cemetery, and the Mound cemetery here where the king was found. And loads of pictures with them on, look. What's this here?
It's like a yeah.
It's a bowl.
Yeah.
So they found this cremation bowl pretty much underneath where we stood now.
Yeah.
But I like it here, it says lent by the British Museum. You know, that's a bit... As if the British Museum have the right to own this, really. It should stay here.
The British Museum have all the good stuff.
They have all the good stuff, yeah.
Yes.
That's a wonderful picture. That in 1991 they did one of the mounds. They excavated it and they found here a warrior with his sword buried next to him. And just across, his horse, buried with his horse. That is fantastic. Okay, I'm quite excited now, Mazzy. Because we've got the warrior, we've got the horse, we've only got his grave goods over here, look. Look at this, he had a little purse with garnets in it. Now in them days what they used to do, apparently, is put everything in the grave which he would need to get him through the afterlife. We've got some of his jewellery here, and the most important thing for the warrior would be his sword. That is fantastic. Various bowls. I don't know why they put bowls in. Why would you need a bowl for the afterlife?
They might have filled it with food. So
Yeah, but that would be in the woman's grave, not in the man's grave. The man wouldn't need... Oh, you mean the food? Oh, yeah, what were inside it.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the actual bowl for washing up and cooking, they wouldn't need. There's his comb. The warrior's comb. Unbelievable. And just as special, if not more special, because some of these are made out of gold, these are the bits off the horse, in the horse's grave. Absolutely fascinating. He was about 25 years old. All these gold bits, these are off the bridle.
Which would it look like there?
And they've reconstructed it, and they reckon it would look exactly like that. That is fantastic. Now, one thing about this, obviously the main grave is the one in the ship which contained the king, but apparently his body had completely disintegrated, and they think it's because it was in a ship, because the ship will have filled with water. It's very acidic soil around here, and it's just disintegrated his bones completely away. Whereas these, the bones are still there. I wonder where the actual horse and man are then. Probably in London Museum. Absolutely fascinating.
So he wouldn't have had food in the buckets because like, he already had his bag of food with him.
What?
He's brought a picnic lit.
Oh, so he's got his bag of food there. So what did he need pots for then?
Dunno. To wash.
To wash, yeah, probably for washing. One thing I do refuse to do today is moan about digging up graves. I know I normally do it, but this is a special museum and I'm not going to go down that road today. I'm just going to enjoy it. Come on, let's have a look at you. No, put the helmet on. Put it on.
Don't be daft.
So I've been looking forward to this bit since I saw a picture earlier. We've found them, haven't we, Mazzy? Look at them. Look at them. The puzzle of the coins. The replicas.
I know.
The replicas! I wanted to see the real thing. If you want to see the real thing, I suggest you go to the London Museum, but the British Museum. But they're replicas. Here's the story about them. It says there's a puzzle, but I can't be bothered reading all that, to be honest with you. I'll read it later when I get home. Found this interesting piece of paper stuck to the back here. A few of the interesting things. Anglo-Saxons did not tend to use coins as tender. So what they used them for, I don't know. But these were found inside a purse in 1939. And they come from France. But it says here, the coins helped them to date the burial ship to around 625 AD. And the recorded death of the King Radwald was around the same year, so that's why they think it was the king inside that burial. So this one's an original. This is a bucket found next to the Sutton Hoo burial ground from the 6th century. Bit of a Greek look to it, and if you look closely, look, can you make that out? It's really good detail. There, look. And if you want to know exactly what it looks like, they've shown us here. That's all the way around the bucket. And it actually says somewhere on it, in Greek I think it said. Yep, in Greek. Use this in good health, master count for many happy years. So here's a reproduction of the king's helmet. Now, it was in hundreds of tiny little fragments, and they tried to put it together and guess how it looked, and it looked wrong apparently. So they sent it to Sweden. And this is a similar design. They had very similar designs in Sweden, and this is what they reckon it would have looked like. Again, the original's in the British Museum, or parts of it anyway. Again, another replica, but this is the one of, well, probably the most famous complete part of the king's burial. This is his buckle. A replica of it, and a disc from a shield there, and I don't know, that's the tip of a drinking horn. I don't know what a drinking horn is. Well, I do, it's one of them horn things, but I can't see how that would go onto it. What is it? It's just rivets from the ship, yeah, nails from the ship. We've seen them in 2 other museums.
Yeah.
We saw them in
Anglo-Saxon.
Orford Castle have some, which we didn't actually show people about that. And
And the West
Anglo-Saxon place had some, and here's some as well. They're all over the place, honestly. Rivets from the ship. If you don't know what ship I'm talking about, guys, this is what it looked like when they were excavating it. And I believe they're closing this place down on September the 30th to do something pretty special, and I think they're going to be putting in a proper reproduction of the ship.
Wow.
The actual ship, so that'll be pretty cool for next year. I think it's closing for 6 months, but I might be wrong. So here you've got another ship burial, but this is 200 years later in Norway, and they found this in 1905. A very similar thing, and it's just to show you really that they carried on this tradition, did the Vikings, of burying the very important people in the ships. It's a reproduction. We're not putting that on Instagram, I can tell you now. We only have original fantastic things on Instagram. But yeah, that's showing the replica in a much better replica than the one I showed you earlier. Beautiful. These are all reproductions, but it just shows you some of the things which they found in his in the king's grave. So he had his sword there with his scabbard, and look at the shield. That is beautiful. Or it would be if it were original, but that's what it would have looked like. I wonder if he ever used it in battle. I bet he never had a fight.
Probably
No, he probably didn't, did he? And then you've got these lovely things, little shoulder clasps. I don't know if you can see through a magnifying. Oh, you can a bit. That's quite nice. That's really nice. But this is which interests me the most. Look at this purse. Now, if I can zoom in on that microscope, look at the detail in there. 1,526 inlays in that purse. Mostly garnets, and the smallest are about 1 millimetre across. So you can imagine how hard that would have been to make. So this would have been the belt he had. He had strange taste in design, but hey, I think they're guessing that bit. Maybe not, I don't know. But here's the buckle. Now apparently, in that design, there are 13 animals hidden inside there. I can't see one single animal, but they must know what they're talking about. Okay, I think that's pretty badly displayed, because I'm now thinking it's talking about 13 animals in the whole thing, because if you look at the purse you can actually see what look like, I don't know, maybe monkeys or something on there. So there's 3 things to see here. There's the exhibition which we've just been in, and behind here is the house of the woman whose property it was, who found the mounds and got some experts in to find out what was in the mounds. But a big group of school children have just gone that way, so we'll do that last. We're going to go see the actual burial mounds now. This will be pretty cool because we know exactly what was in each mound. Oh yes. By the way, this is the first place I've ever been where I've actually been asked if I want a job as a guide.
Yeah.
He said, he was asking where I'm from. I said Bradford. Where do you live now? I said Bury St Edmunds. He says, what did he say?
He says something about offering you a job.
Yeah, you should be a guide or something. Because I knew more about the items than he did, I think. We just saw this and wanted to know what it was, so we went round the corner. It's pretty cool actually. I says, oh, it'll be a seat, I think. Got round the corner. It is a seat. Look at this seat. Oops, wrong way round. Look at that seat. That is fantastic. The best part of it is, look, you've got a woman here with boobies. A woman with boobies. Proper woman. I like that. I'm going to go sit right next to a woman with boobies. Oh, it's comfy as well. Oh, I like it here. Yeah, you get a nice view. Sheep opposite me. I could stay here all day. I might do. So on this side you've got some deer. They look like deer. And the woman I was on about, I didn't realise she's having group sex with 2 pigs. They're not dolphins. You thought they were dolphins, really? But they're not. Because they've got legs, look.
Yeah, they're weird.
The pigs. Oh, that's really weird. She don't look happy, does she? So this section might seem a bit boring because it's just mounds of mud really, with grass on top. But there were interesting things found under these mounds. They've excavated this one and they found another ship. This is mound number 2. They found a ship in here. Do we know anything more about it, Mazzy, or is that it?
They've just...
It's number 2 there, look.
Yeah.
it has been rebuilt to represent its
Yeah.
original size in the 7th century. So that's what it looked like when they started excavating it. They obviously flattened it, took all the goodies out, and then put it back together again. Mound number 17, Mazzy.
Yeah.
It's not much of a mound really, is it? It's just like 2 stone bits of slabby things they've put on top to represent exactly where they were. Now, when I was looking at the pictures in there when they were excavating, there was a warrior and a horse, wasn't there? It looked like it was a huge area it was over. But they're really close together. It's just a tiny little, 2 tiny little grave-looking things. But yeah, to think, if you're metal detecting here, if you're allowed, before anything was found, and you went over that mound, and you got beeps, and you got all them, you got that purse full of garnets,
That would be amazing,
and
wouldn't it?
all them horses' gold bits and stuff, wouldn't that be? Ooh. But we didn't find them, someone else did. And they're all in there. They're all in there in the Sutton Hoo Exhibition.
I was going to say, we can't even get near any of this.
No, you can't get near it. You can't even get a pinpointer and just...
No.
Oh, you mean you can't just have a close look?
Yeah.
So here you have the warrior and his horse, and over here you've got some more stone slabs, and they found someone there who they think was killed in a battle, but where he was buried was actually where they buried the bodies what they found here. They would bury them over there, and they've marked it with them little stone things. So any bodies which they've found in these, by the sound of it, are all reburied in there. So this is mound number 1, surprisingly. I was expecting this to be the tallest of them all, but it's not. You could hardly see a mound. But here it is, and it was a 90-foot long ship. That's where all the goodies was found, and a king was buried there, probably the king of East Anglia. But it's nowhere near the size of the other ship burial one over there. Maybe they've just not built it up like they did with the last one, but yeah, it's a viewing platform we're on here, and there's lots of mounds all over the place. I've only gone into detail of a few of them, but you know, you've got loads more dotted around here. You can see the numbers. It shows you here what was found in each one, if you're interested. There you go. So if you match up the numbers to the map, you can see exactly where they would be, where on the viewing platform. We've literally just walked up here and told you about these. I'm not going into detail on them. So now we're going to make our way back and go to Tranmere House, which is where the lady whose place it was lived, and she wanted to know what was in her bumps. So she rang a man up, and he came and examined the bumps, and they were together for ages, weren't they, doing stuff in ships and all sorts, with trowels and all sorts of tools and odd shaped things, and they had lots of fun finding one of the best treasures ever found in British history. There's a little story here which Mazzy's just pointed out, but do you understand it yet? Because I don't.
In my language, in my head I do, yeah.
Okay.
I can't explain it, but yeah.
You can read about it there, but it's saying that Truda grave robbers came and they nearly found the burial and got all the things out of there. But if it wasn't for a local farmer, a medieval farmer, who'd done something, and that's the bit I don't understand, it confused the robbers and me. So the robbers missed the centre of the mound, and they missed the ship, and they missed all the treasure. Thanks to that good old farmer.
That's clever.
You can see the house we're off to now, just over there in the distance. It doesn't look very old, I have to say. It just looks like a normal house, but I'm very intrigued to find out what's inside. So I'm in the archaeologist's hut at the moment. This is where they set up the hut, put on the jacket, put on the flat cap, got the spade and started digging up bodies just over there. Found loads of treasure they did. It smells like tea. You can imagine they drunk a lot of tea. In fact, you've even got some sugar here in a little bowl and some tea. So yeah, it's stuck down, is that? Stuck down, you've got your kettle there, stuck down again, no use whatsoever. Deck chairs, They're obviously very lazy. I bet they were here for decades. But yeah, interesting. Do I look good?
You
Do I
look-
look like an
yeah.
archaeologist?
Yeah.
Is this what you reckon I looked like in them days?
Not as sexy.
Eh? Not as sexy.
Not as sexy.
I don't
you.
look as sexy.
No, you're more sexier than. Oh, never mind.
Please don't come to Sutton Hoo to look round the house because it's pretty rubbish, really. But you know, it's another little added thing you can see. I'm not complaining. I would like your views on Sutton Hoo now because we're about to leave.
Truthful.
Truthful?
It's interesting. I
Mm.
just not a lot here really, is there?
Okay, would you like to give it marks out of 10?
5.
5?
Yeah, sorry guys.
Okay. Don't worry, because I loved it.
Okay.
I loved it. I love all that history. You really need to read all the information boards and things. Personally, I'm not very good at doing that because I already know it all. There's no point in me reading what I already know. But yeah, I loved it. I just wish it had more of the actual items from the burial rather than the being the British Museum. And another annoying thing which we were told, there's a lot of photographs, there's a lot of photographs which are actually, they belong to the British Museum and they say copyright of the British Museum on the bottom. These guys are just borrowing the pictures.
Yeah.
They've been lucky enough to have pictures of their own place given to them to use by British Museum, which I think is disgusting. British Museum, you don't own everything. But I actually loved it.
Lovely day out. I love all the history. I just really not a lot here though.
It's just not your thing.
No, it is. Just not a lot to it.
No, there's not a lot, but
No.
as long as you know, if you're a member of National Trust, it's worth it because it's free.
Yeah.
Once you're a member of that, I think it's about £9.60 if you're not a member for adults.
Wow.
Just to let you all know if you're planning on visiting. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm glad I came. It's somewhere to tick off my list of places I really wanted to go. We'll see you next time on Travel Trolls TV. Say goodbye, Mazzy.
Bye.
See you later, everyone. I nearly forgot. I'll give it an 8.
So that makes it a 7 then?
So
No,
that-
a 6. 6.5. Makes it 6.5.
What did you give it?
A 5.
5, 6, 7, 8, 3, 6. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
God, you're better than me. So, okay, we'll give it a 6.5. But because they offered me a job as a guide, we're going to up that to 7. I got offered a job.